Hi, welcome to Sportsy, Let's Aim Sports. Today, we will be talking about a different sport. It is already there, but it is reinvented now. Today, we will be talking about Pro Panja League. Today, we have with us Parvin Dabas, a well known Indian actor, director, and model who works predominantly in Hindi and English language films. He is a professional scuba diver and underwater photographer. And while managing his entertainment career, founded SWEN Entertainment as an agency working on various aspects of entertainment industry. And most importantly, now a promoter of a new league on the block, Pro Panja League. After starting MMA India, he took on the new work on him, which is Pro Panja League. It's a professional arm wrestling tournament in India. The league was founded by SWEN Entertainment in 2020. The league hosted its first ever arm wrestling tournament in India on 29 February at the Thiagara Sports Complex in New Delhi. Supported by boxing legend Vijender and our sports minister Kiren Rijiju, Pro Panja League is growing to make a mark as a significant sporting event. Let's talk Panja with Parvin Dabas. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel Sportsy Says and help us spread the word about Sportsy. We go with the same handle Sportsy Says across all social media platforms. Hey, hi Parveen. Great to have you on Sportsy, where we talk about sports and use this platform to aspire, inspire, and motivate a lot of people coming into sports industry. So it's great to have you on this platform, Parveen.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, and lovely to be here.
For the viewers, Parvin needs no introduction as an actor, director, and in entertainment industry. But what is he doing on sports is something I want to give an introduction to. Parvin has beyond his passion for acting and the entertainment career, he has his own company, SWEN Entertainment, under which a lot of sporting activities happen. While his love for MMA is very well known, something interesting that came up called Pro Panja League, and we would like to hear from you, Parveen, about the whole experience of Pro Panja League and how the move has happened from real to real in your life. So, are happy to have you here and really looking forward to the next 20-25 minutes of chat.
Thank you so much.
Parveen, as my question is probably most anticipated and expected question for you. How did the real to real happen? It's like from amazing acting career, movie career, founding Swen to Pro Panja. How has that happened?
First of all, sports has always been a part of my life. From when I was small, I grew up in Canada for some years. Also, I learned taekwondo there, and I've always loved to be involved in combat sports, kickboxing, and MMA. Like you rightly said, I host the MMA India show, and we have a really successful sports site called MMAindia.com, which we started both. We started in 2016. And we also have the Sports India show now. So this love of sports and wanting to give a platform to athletes where they can put their views out and be heard and seen is what started MMAindia.com and then SportsIndiaShow.com as well. There was no platform for athletes at that time in terms of reaching out to people and being heard and, even amongst the community itself. Really interesting ride with that so far. We're accredited media with the UFC now, and we're in regular touch with the PR team there, and we're quite connected within the MMA community in India, and we try to do whatever we can to give the athletes platforms and make their voices heard. And do whatever we can within that community as well. Our social media does exceedingly well now, a lot of engagement. We have some very passionate people working with us on MMA India, because you have to be very passionate, to be working in mixed martial arts, because it is still a niche. But luckily, India, anything niche also is a very big market. Luckily, Sony Sports shows UFC, and they have a large base of viewers. Fans like me also. I'm an MMA and UFC fan, so that's what drives us to do that. So this is just something which started parallelly to the acting and entertainment career. I've always thought of different things to do. And of course, Swen was born from there as well. Of course, that's an entertainment,
Yeah.
and from there, the sports properties were born. And I always wanted to, of course, own a sports promotion. Own as in start a
Yeah.
sports promotion. Own is the wrong word, because I have my own ideas of how sports should be done and marketed, and how we can grow it, especially sports which has a larger reach. So in my childhood, also in Delhi, I was surrounded by a lot of Jat cousins and everything who were very much into Panja. I was also into it, but not as good as them. And there used to be a lot of college tournaments, and even the way of them greeting each other sometimes used to be, doing Panja. So the strongest. So what I really like about Panja is it's, and I always call this a non-violent combat sport. Because it allows you to release that aggression. It allows you to show aggression, but without really harming the other. It's a show of strength, but there's no real bruising or blood, or
Yeah.
all of that involved. Though let me tell you, it's a very hard sport, an extremely hard sport. So it takes a lot of strength, a lot of mental stamina, mental strength as well. Extremely when the thought came of starting a sports promotion as well in 2016, this is where the mind went, where I felt, arm wrestling is a very interesting sport.
Mhm.
It is known across the globe, and most importantly, it has a very strong Indian ethos, because it's got an Indian name,
Yeah.
Panja, which is why we called it the Pro Panja League and not the Pro Arm Wrestling League.
Correct.
Because we want the Indian side of it projected. It's an Indian sport, and whether you go to a boy in the village, or or somebody in a corporate office, or somebody in a five-star, everybody knows Panja, and everybody knows the basic rule of it.
Yeah.
Like football, it's very simple. In football, you have to put the goal, ball in the other guy's goal. In this, that you have to put the other person's hand down. And of
Yeah.
course, that's the basic rule. But there are many other rules. You have to have your elbow on the pad. You have to be holding the other steel rod. And, there are various other rules which people are being educated now since we started Pro Panja League. And that was the journey we started in Feb 29th, 2020 in Delhi at the Tyagaraja Stadium, which is where the Kabaddi League happens. We were
Yeah.
fortunate to have our Honorable Sports Minister, Shri Kiren Rijiju ji,
Yes.
and Vijender Singh, of course, our international boxer, who doesn't know him, have
Yeah.
inaugurated. And it was fantastic. Unfortunately, of course, the lockdown happened immediately within 2 weeks
Yeah.
from that. And and then during the lull, because now that the lockdown has started, during the lull we were able to have two more events. We
Correct.
were able to have a very successful event in Mumbai on Feb 14th, and we were able to be a part of Vijender Singh Bhai's battle on ship
Yes.
in Goa on March 19th,
Nice.
which was due to Mr. Neerav Tomar, who's head of iOS Sports. He's very close, and he's the one who offered us to be a part of that. So we had two bouts, one men's and one women's, as part of
Right.
that. So it was again an amazing night. We were on a casino boat, the Majestic Pride. So an amazing setting, and Goa, it's a
Yeah.
Las Vegas kind of feel, So, and we were seen on Sony 10 Sports because of that. So a lot of great things. So we're very thankful to Mr. Neerav Tomar, and Mr. Kiren Rijiju, Vijender Singh Bhai, who have all helped us on this journey so far. Of course, the Janta curfew or lockdown, whatever you want to call it, has happened again. And there is again, of course, in Maharashtra, no sporting events or that is allowed. We've shut our office, of course. Also, according to the rules, you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. So, but we are planning our next move. We're doing a lot of stuff, online, in touch with people. Various things are moving to the next stage, are going on, because life doesn't stop.
Right.
Like you also rightly said, your show itself was born out of the
Yes.
the lockdown.
Lockdown.
It's a lockdown, baby. So all of us have to live and learn how to work within those parameters that we're given then. So we're also working and going ahead. And, like I said, there's a lot of excitement. People who have seen it are really excited. They love how we've done it. And I have to say, congratulate the team and everybody involved, from the TV production to everybody. Everybody's done a really good job in showing that what we are putting together is a world-class
Yeah.
sports production. So it's actually been noticed all over the world within the arm
Right.
wrestling community, globally, that we're not just doing something local but global.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vocal for global. so,
Yeah.
so that's the attempt, and
Right.
we have been successful to a large extent in the vision that we're taking forward with the Pro Panja League. And how, I don't know if this will be your next question, but I'll say it anyway. But we are looking at a calendar of events and not just a league
That was
season.
my question.
Yeah. So, so I'll allow you to ask me, and then I'll
Okay.
answer.
And I think that let me tweak the question. I had the question, but I think since you started answering, I said, ki, as you called it a Pro Panja League, but you mentioned a couple of event side of it. So are you looking at as an event calendar, or you actually looking at Pro Panja League as a full-fledged league where the domestic international collaboration goes and the federation gets involved at the bigger scale? So how does that calendar look like?
Both. It's a calendar with both, and the federation is already involved. So the events. This was always the plan: is to start with events. We started with a ranking tournament,
Yeah.
which is where the players, get ranked, and everybody knows, who stands where. You get your champions in each division. There's 9 divisions. There's 6 men's, 2 women's, 1 specially able, and then you move. We move to the mega matches, which is kind of like a UFC fight night format. We set up different fights, and it's sometimes champion versus champion. We've had our 100 kg champion versus the 100 kg plus champion. We've got a 100 kg champion versus the 90 kg champion. And various permutations, and we've had rematches of the champions. For champions belt, and another like the 3rd seed versus the 4th seed. So all top players within these mega matches, which have been very exciting. And part of the mega matches, USP is the location as well. The first mega match was at the Pier, which is at Radio Club in Colaba, Mumbai, and it's surrounded 3 ways by water. The first sports event to ever have taken place there. But the idea was to have the Gateway of India and the Taj Hotel in the back, so you can see. So it was it was the whole atmosphere and the ambience that one created. I have a friend who's in the MMA world and has an MMA promotion, and he's had about 40 different events, and he came, and the first thing he said was, from all my 40 events, I've not been able to create the ambience that you've done here, in such a short time. So it is part of the ambience, and that was our thing. See, we didn't want to constrict it to just a table. We want to open it up. We want to open up this thing so that it's about much more, and the sport is of course happening on that table, but it's you're making it much bigger, than that. So people really love that, and if you can, it was. It looked really amazing. People really loved it. So they saw the production and everything, and the production value that we bring to the table, and the fact that it's unlike any arm wrestling event in the world. So so that's what I was saying is we've got 2 mega matches underneath our belt. The next one, of course, we were lucky enough to be invited by Mr. Neerav Tomar, where we were on the Majestic Pride, casino boat, part of Vijender Singh's fight battle on ship. So that was our second mega match series. So we've had these 3 events, and now we are moving towards the league phase. It was very important for us to do these also as proof of concept of what we're doing. We did not want to walk around with a deck, convincing people that this is what we want to do and this and that. What I have always felt in my life is the proof is in the pudding. People have to see, rather than you explaining sometimes, they have to see, what is available. So, we said, okay, we're going to be investing in this on our own, because we want, people to see what we're doing, and the fact that we're doing a world-class promotion, and it's not just us, talking.
Yeah.
So, and that has been, I think, a great advantage to us. So all of our discussions are very positive because of what we've done and managed. The league phase will be coming towards the end of the year, where we will be coming up with 6 teams.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
so we'll have a league season, and throughout the year we'll have we'll have 1 ranking tournament every year, and we'll have several mega matches throughout the year.
Okay, interesting. And I think you touch upon one of the point which I really want to take it forward. Is like we have seen kabaddi, we have seen wrestling, we have seen multiple leagues, even the MMA, like the boxing and MMA started in India. Out of the which only kabaddi took off, everything else has not took off the way it was expected. So I think one of the things that you mentioned about doing the POCs, understanding what it is very important. But other than that, what do you feel that Pro Panja can do differently to actually stand out? Because one is about the experience that you want to give, one is about making the world class event, but at the same time, it is the event which is like it's the sport which is played by anybody and everybody. Even sitting together, me and my son can just go and do it and enjoy it. But how do you actually connect to the people throughout the whole journey and making it into a successful league?
Uh, we have a lot of engagement also within our events, but like you rightly said, it's a sport which everybody feels they can do. And not to boast so much, but the only other sport which people feel, every Indian feels they can do is cricket.
Yeah.
वो सचिन तेंदुलकर भी अगर शॉट मारेगा, जब मारता है थोड़ा सा इधर होता था तो बोलते इसको थोड़ा सा गली ये करना चाहिए. Everybody has an opinion on that. The same way, everybody who watches Panja, it takes them back to their childhood, their college days, and they feel they can do it.
Yeah.
They feel, okay, I can do this. Now, just to give an example, we had, before our Mumbai event, we had a small launch for the media. And what we did is we did a mini media tournament. We invited the media onto the table against each other. And you should have seen them after the first two came a little hesitantly. Nobody was wanting to back off. Media, journalism, sab bhul gaye wo, which was great to see them so involved in it. Everybody was like, because where do you get a chance to actually play a sport?
Yes.
The sport that you're covering, and you're able, it's very few sports, so they were all, after the first two guys, nobody was backing down. The referee actually had to separate them sometimes, you guys are trained in your heart toot jayega, so so, and after that, I'm telling you, everybody just rushed to the table. Everybody wanted to play, me, and they were all serious. They were so serious about winning, in different age groups. Somebody was old, somebody young, and they were all, because it's that, and it's, and not machoism as in male machoism. No, even some, female journalists and female wanted to come on to show their strength also. Nice. So it's just a generic, show of strength, that we get to show, and it's ego. It's a lot of things involved. It's that thing which is great because that's what sport is about, right? It's also the great thing is that this is a sport which can really engage people because everybody feels they can participate and they can do it, and that is. Why, of course, we pick the sport also, and how we are engaging with people. Sometimes even during our events, we call people up, we let them, do it, we show them the rules. So it's about showing people that you can do it, but about getting the right training, of course, also, so and knowing the techniques, because you don't want people just to do it and then having risk or something or getting hurt. But the biggest connect though, of course, is seeing it. Even in our first event in Delhi, we had a table outside also in the lobby area, where our flex and everything, and our PR flex and branding flex was. We had a table for people to take selfies. After the first 15 minutes of the show starting, quite a few young boys just went there and started doing Panja with each other. It got mobbed. Everybody wanted to do Panja. Why? Because they saw how it was being done. They saw how it was being done. In a couple of them, like in Panja, you can use your foot also and your feet to put leverage against the legs of the arm. So a couple of them saw that and started doing that as well. So very soon, very quickly, people pick up these little things to to see. So it's a sport which I really feel, and you have to remember, we're not introducing this sport, we're reintroducing it to people. Reintroducing it to people as a sport which they know, they played with, but the thing is, they don't know right now who are the champions, who are the big players, who are the and is it played. It's like where kabaddi was before the kabaddi league happened. Nobody knew who those players. Nobody knew it was played amateur level or professional level, but it takes some time. So it takes a couple of years to build those sports people and the fans And there's a lot of hard work from their end also, which I keep telling them about. But eventually it is a sport which like I said, everybody knows and will want to see and connect with.
Yeah. So, Parvin, one of the questions that just came to my mind while talking about it, when you said that okay, we are building the whole thing, it's a reintroducing the sports. It's not reinventing. It's not inventing. So, in that process, I think the off-season responsibility is far more as a promoter of the sport. It's far more than actually on season during the season. So, how do you think that the interest level can keep going up and not people just think about, "Arey, one of the event आएगा तब देखेंगे," but that what are the things that you feel that okay that
Well,
people will
of
be.
course. So some of it is growing the social media and keep connecting through there. Now we've got one of the biggest social media presences in the arm wrestling world. During the first lockdown, we really
Mhm.
concentrated on our social media, and we've got now about 4.5 lakh followers on Facebook.
Wow.
Which is much more than any other arm wrestling tournament or league in the world. So we are the biggest arm wrestling league in the world on Facebook right now. With a lot of followers. What we're doing right now to make them to make people connect and remember even during IPL is we are posting graphics with IPL players and saying who would win in a Panja match.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it's riding that IPL wave, but keeping them in touch with Panja,
Mhm.
making them think about Panja as well. So so all of this is social engagement, how to
Right.
think, and fortunately we've been in this world for the last 4 or 5 years now.
Correct.
With MMA India show and this and that. So we have been learning various ways of how to connect with people. We keep trying, we keep doing the different things. So all of this is to keep in people's memory and do different things. Of course, various other marketing and PR activities. But the main thing is connecting to people, trying to keep that connection with people on the ground and keep it growing as well.
Right. So, Parvin, when you're talking about a sport, and you said it's a mixed team of men champions, women differently abled. So, how did you actually attract the women participants, and how did the concept of differently abled athlete getting associated with it came up?
We always wanted to make it inclusive.
Hmm.
So that's why we always wanted to make sure that the Pro Panja League has men, women, and specially able.
Right.
Even the league teams will have men, women, and specially able. Right now, we are giving the same amount of money to the top seeds, whether they're men, women, or specially able. And same thing. The second seeds get the same, third and fourth. So everybody, regardless of gender or ability, gets paid the same amount and gets the same treatment. And this is something that both the women and the specially able really appreciate, because a lot of times they are not able to participate as the same way as men. Especially the specially able sometimes can't take
Yeah.
part also. So this is something that they have really appreciated, understood, and it's great. They've said it a lot of times when they come on stage that that they feel so good that they are treated the same way and they get the same amount. And we always felt that if we had that opportunity to do it, then we should, because it's the right thing
Yeah.
to do. They work as hard as anybody else, and we've got our players are all from various walks of life. They're from somebody's a farmer, somebody's a teacher, somebody makes furniture, somebody is a gym trainer. There are some who actually work in factories. So they work very hard, and this is our way of at least adopting one sport and trying to do what we can with it and for the athletes.
Excellent. I think the word inclusive that you wanted to make it happen, that says it all. I think that is the beauty of sport, and it's kudos to you for making it happen. People want to do it, but you made it happen. So that is so commendable. Parvin, on the same line, now we are moving from events after events to a league. How do you think the grassroots can be developed to start competing at the say zonal level and at the elite level?
See, there's already a very strong amateur network throughout
Okay.
the country. We don't know about that much because it's smaller. A lot of times the players also don't know who's interested, where do we go, what do we do. So again, that's where we're stepping in to bring awareness about the game and to let people know. that there are these district level and zonal level competition, amateur that you can go to. And our ranking tournament is also going to help develop, players from all over India, because that is going to be the open tournament where anybody can come, right? Mega matches will have a certain amount of players. The league will have a certain amount of players, but the ranking tournament is what is going to be allow us to include the maximum number of players, who get to, are able to seed themselves, able to participate in the league and the mega matches. And also develop the game at a ground root level. And of course, as the game gets bigger, as they see it more, that is when more and more people get inspired, when there are stars made of, certain players and everything. Just to give you an example, at our Mumbai event, now people who came didn't know any player, right? They had never been to an arm wrestling event before. Most of them, I would say, 99.9%, nobody had been, probably 100, apart from us, nobody had been to an arm wrestling event because there are none, right? It's all, on an amateur level. So, but by the end of it, we had a co-main event, which was between Karaj Singh from Haryana and Sachin Goyal from Madhya Pradesh. People were actually chanting their names. It was a best of 5, so it went to, so they were both 2 rounds, and it went till the 5th round. People were chanting their names, and that was so amazing for us to see that people connected with these players in their very first event. And the players, this is what motivates these players. So far, they've not gotten the recognition that they deserve. So people were shouting Karaj, and they were shouting Sachin like a cricket match. So Karaj won, but it's so great and motivating for these players that they get to feel like stars, because that is where where they headed. They are stars, and we've already got a couple of stars. Even when we did our Goa event, the commentators there mentioned, after they saw Chetna Sharma, who's our female under 65 champion, the way her body language and the way her aggressiveness, everything, they said, you've already got a star here. So people who see it understand, what we are talking about and how we're, marketing and how we're pushing it. So it's just a matter of getting the visibility, so because every time somebody sees it, we get new fans on board because they're loving it. Everybody who came to the Mumbai event as well, said we felt like it was a T20 match. We couldn't take our eyes off because there was something or the other happening all the time. And also we had one of India's best reality dance troupes called V Company over there performing. We had all 3 Miss Indias come, so we had the 3 Miss Indias come and kind of belt our champions. So it's all of this, which is you try to make the match and the event as interesting as possible for the other things around it as well. Because it's not just the sport, but it's entertainment as well. One has to keep that in mind. You're entertaining people. People are there.
It's a full package.
Time. Yeah, exactly. It's a whole package. So you have to do various other things as well to keep them engaged.
Right. So Parvin, my one couple of last questions. So one question is, as a businessman, when you look at a sporting property, and if you want to give advice to the budding entrepreneurs who want to build a sporting property out of scratch, what are the top 3 things that they have to keep in mind to make it into a proper business?
I would say, you have to think long term. Don't just think of, because you spoke about some other leagues and not doing well. I feel one of the things that people have done is, okay, league banana hai, 6 team, 8 team bech dete hain, and ye itna aapko paisa dena hai, and then let's move and players, so that is the usual way, I think. And I'm nobody to tell anybody what to do and how they should do it.
Correct.
What our plan has been is to develop the sport and develop the brand first, also more, before going to the league phase, so people know about the brand, they know about the sport, they know what's happening, they know who's who a little more than just, jumping into that. So I would say to people who are interested in it, take time to understand the sport, understand the business, understand marketing, because marketing is as important, if not more important than anything else. We try to take our cues from a lot of different other sports also, and how they market themselves, whether it's UFC, WWE, or other things. Of course, we try to what's on the table is very much real, but there is a way that has to because marketing is making your product reach people. right?
Correct.
You need to get people interested. You see, Kabaddi's did such a fantastic job. They made stars out of so many of their players.
Yeah.
Their players, have made probably amounts of money that they never thought possible. And that's what a lot of our players now have
Hmm.
gotten money which they've never gotten before in their life.
Correct.
So and they feel so happy. They tell us ki, our parents are finally going to be so proud of us, because for so many years we've been doing this sport and they say kyun time waste kar rahe ho, but now when they take that money and those checks back to their parents, and they show them in the newspapers. A lot of them have been, their pictures have been featured in the papers and different places. So they show their parents, and their parents are proud of them. And I think that's what one has to do also, is show that sports can be a career, and especially in these professional sports promotions,
Hmm.
which we are doing, is that's how it's going to be done. You're making different, and it's for the promoters to make it successful. So what I would say is, don't rush into these things. Make sure they're planned properly, and your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, all of these are in your mind already, and not after you start.
Right.
Have these things in place before you start. Make sure you're making a healthy ecosystem where both the league and the teams can benefit. I
Right.
think that's very important, and that's what we're working towards also, is a structure where the teams will benefit as much as the league, and there's going to be a very healthy system in place where the teams will get a lot of benefits as well for being associated with the league. So it needs to be something where everybody to benefit for the sport grow, and that's where more people will come and be attracted to the sport when they see that it can be made into a profession as well.
Right. Correct. Excellent. So, one question, since this is a sports channel, so one question is, what has sports taught you in your life?
It sounds like a cliche answer, but it's discipline. I was part of the school basketball team and the college basketball team. And, I still remember we used to wake up at 5 o'clock and, catch our DTC buses to get there earlier. And it was not easy, because you had to change a couple of buses to get to college and practice, before college happened, because otherwise we could have got a U special right in front of our houses, which would have, dropped us to college, but you had to make that sacrifice.
Right.
You had to make that sacrifice. You had to exercise. It was about fitness and various other things. Those lessons have stayed with me throughout my life. And I still, whenever like I go to a Thailand, I still go to kickboxing camp, Muay Thai, of course, as it's known over
Mhm.
there, again, which is discipline. For 2 hours you're just going at it. I still work out every day with a company called SoFit, which is 8 to 9 in the morning every day online. I'm doing my workouts again, because I think it's because the sports discipline, always wanting to do a sport. I still play basketball now and then. I run now and then. So all of this has come from the roots of
Right.
that sports gave me. I'm very grateful that my parents put me into taekwondo class while I
Mhm.
was growing up in Canada. So that again was totally disciplined. You had to reach
Right.
on time. You had to do your you had to do your push-ups. You had to do this. You had to do that. And it's not something always you want to do.
Correct.
But if you want to be a sports person, you have to sacrifice so much. You almost have, because you see your friends, they're hanging around, they're doing this, they're doing that. You have to give all that up, if you
Yeah.
want to really, because there's so much competition. There's so much competition in India now only. Forget the world.
Correct.
To be good in any sport, you have to really sacrifice a lot. You have to be disciplined. You have to really give it your all. And I say this to a lot of the players as well, that you guys, if you really want to be the best, you can
Mhm.
be, but you just have to put that effort in.
Correct.
You can't just put in some effort and say, oh, nahi hua types. No, you have to, really go beyond what you think you're capable of doing. And I think that aspect kind of filters into every other area of life. I think that's one of the factors of me starting this promotion as well, because
Mhm.
it's not easy starting a sports promotion.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, but it's that thing of, yes, we can do it, and this is what you have to do. and you just have to do these things, and this is how you get things started. So I think that's part of it, and the love of sports. I've always loved watching sports, and even now, like I said, I love boxing. I still box. I do a lot of boxing. I have a really good boxing trainer, Preeti Jhangiani here, and I love just boxing with him, and there's a certain joy in competing, sometimes when I spar with him, if I'm able to hit him, or most of the time he hits me, even just get hit, it becomes like an ego thing of how, so all of this stuff keeps you very mentally sharp.
Right.
If you see, in England we have 100-year-old Indian Sardaji of Indian original. I think his name is Fauja Singh or Fauja Singh, exactly, who runs the men. Now just look at him, he's at such an age, he's still so fit, and he just keeps going on and on. Sports really, I think it's really taking off now in a much bigger way in our country. But it can do so much on inculcating discipline and giving good lifestyles to a lot of our people, and also increasing, it's a brand. You have to remember, when a country does well in Olympics, it increases the brand value of that country. You look at what Olympics has done for America for so long, for Russia, for China. When it started, winning a lot of those medals in gymnastics and swimming and track and everything, you started looking at China differently. So like I said, sport changes the brand value of a country itself. So you can imagine what it does for individuals.
Excellent. So Parvin, so I think one last thing is just a question out of curiosity. So when do we see the Panja movie coming up, and will you act in that movie?
I won't act in it, but all I'm going to say is it's it's here right now.
Great, and wish it's so wonderful. It will be fun to see that. But wish you all the best with Pro Panja, and it's glad to be associated, and look forward to any kind of help that can be extended from my side, as assistant from my side, and looking forward to Pro Panja, and taking it as a new kid in the block will take it up as a one big thing, and wish you all the best, and looking forward to more and more events.
Thank you so much, Sid, and always lovely talking to you. Take care and stay safe. Cheers.
Likewise, take care. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel, Sportsy Says, and help us spread the word about Sportsy.